Hey guys, Chad Tracy back here with another video. I was terminated after 18 and a half years of service by two officers that said I called them two derogatory names and threatened them approximately 45 to 75 days apart. I've been fighting for my job for 6 years now. I went through in-house hearing, which is a bunch of bullshit. It's a circus. They do what they want. They rule against you regardless. I went to Office of Administrative Law, where DOC is still connected with the Attorney General's office, and they're all like one entity, pretty much. Then the Department of the Deputy Attorney General in my case, Lizzie, is watching all my videos. So I believe that's a conflict of interest. And there's no reason for her to do it, but I guess that's what happens when you're single. You got nothing better going on in your life, and you're 60 or 70 years old, and you're a man hater. That's what typically happens. It's not my fault. You're single, sweetheart. That's your own fault. But anyways, we're gonna get off of her subject. So yeah, I've been fighting for my job. I got these two individuals conspired to get me out of there amongst other people. There was a lieutenant that witnessed it, that knows of it. So here we are today, guys. I'm at the appellate division. Probably going to lose, which I'm good with. Listen, all I can tell you is that I wouldn't be doing all this. I wouldn't have gotten an attorney to appeal in-house hearing. I had brought a attorney in-house also to the little petty charges, which I knew I was going to lose. And then when I went to the OAL hearing, I knew I was going to lose there. We're at the appellate division. I know we're going to lose there, which is fine. I'm already mentally prepared, so it kind of is what it is. You expect the worst, and I know the worst is going to happen. But unfortunately, these guys conspired, and they're getting away with it. And that's the way it is, guys. I know what inmates feel like now, because I've experienced it, that when they're lied upon by officers or people on the street, when they get lied on, they got to do all this time and wrongfully convicted. Definitely respect that now. You grow during these times, which I have. It's actually enlightened me on a lot of aspects of my life. I actually was able to start a business and very, very successful at it. And it leads me to other businesses that I'm going to start. So it's actually helped me tremendously. And I couldn't do it without my children, my ex-wife. They were there. And they helped me out tremendously also. So big thanks to them. So we're getting on to verification of employment through HR at Garden State, Yardville. I'm telling you now, guys, that if you retire or if you're terminated or whatever the case may be, or you leave for another job or a different entity and you need verification of employment, it's 3 to 5 days for them to get it back. So if like generally like a private agency will send it out to your ex-employer, or your ex-employer, and it takes DOC 3 to 5 days to get it through. So with that being said, my recruiter at my new job had spoken to the agency, the private agency that does the background checks, and they sent it out on July 14th or 15th, 4 different times between now or then and now. And I believe today's, I don't even know, let me say the 24th. So they sent it out approximately since the 14th. Maybe it was it was July. Yeah, July 14th. all the way until now. So they sent it out at least 4 times. And I finally got everything taken care of yesterday. And yesterday was the 23rd. Or 20, actually, it was taken care of, I believe, on the 22nd, excuse me. And that was the only reason, so we're going to rewind a little bit. I called up our wonderful HR in Garden State. So I called there anticipating a great talk or good conversation with good people. And I didn't get that, to say the least, that's for sure. So I initially called there, and I was put on, so I called there, and I was ringing for like 3 or 4 minutes. Nobody picked up, so I just let it ring. I was like, shit, nothing better to do, right? It's my day off, so I'm calling, right? Finally, somebody picks up. She didn't identify herself when she picked up. She says, just please hold. So I was holding. I was playing the circus music in the background of in my house, and because I know it's a big circus over there. So we're playing the circus music, and finally, somebody picks up after 10 minutes. It was 3 minutes initially, then 7 minutes, which I was put on hold after she picked up, for a total of 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Actually, no, nobody picked up. Excuse me. So 10 minutes, nobody picked up. So I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to hang up. You know, it doesn't make sense. 10 minutes, you're on hold. 7 minutes, you're on hold. Like, what the hell's going on over there? Like, are they making bacon over there or something? Pretzels? I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're probably writing up ulcers for, I don't know, doing everything right. That's what they do. So, but anyways, or they don't write up the good old boys club, and they're just too busy protecting them. So, but whatever. So I call back. So it's ringing, no bullshit, for 3 minutes. Finally, a young lady picks up. It's like, when she picks up, it's like, oh my gosh, like there's a live person. Like, you're like, wow. So let me not screw this up, and let me, like, hopefully I can get somewhere with this, right? So she picks up, very, very pleasant. I can't use her name. Well, actually I can. I believe her name was Terry. Very, very wonderful person. Spoke well. Very excited. You know, you could just tell in her voice that she was just a good person, right? So I said, hey, I'm looking for information of who I have to talk to in regards to getting verification of job employment. I was, you know, terminated. It's under an appeal at Office of Administrative Law, you know, all that good stuff, and the appellate division, all that. And I'm just trying to get verification from my recruiter because I told her the story. She's like, okay, hold on, please. So she transfers me, but during the transfer, she hangs up on me accidentally. And I'll give her that. That was accidental. Not a big deal. So I call back, right? Yeah. This is where it gets interesting, right? Very, 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 very interesting. So I call up there, right? And I'm, you know, now I'm a little frustrated, right? Because, you know, the first time I was put on hold for 3 minutes. I called there for 3 minutes, kept ringing. Someone finally picked up, put me on hold for another 7. So I was on hold for 10 minutes, right? And then I called back because, you know, I'm like, what the hell is going on type stuff. And I called back, and it's ringing for 3 minutes. And then I had that lady pick up, right? So, you know, I was like, oh, yeah, you're telling a story. And, you know, it transferred and I hung up. It's not a big deal. Whatever, user mistake. I know it wasn't me. It ended, not a big deal. I call back. You know, I'm a little upset, but, you know, I'm still very, very pleasant. My mood has not changed. And mind you guys, I'm recording everything because in DOC, you cannot trust not one person, right? Because all they have to say is that you're calling there, harassing them, and this, that, and the third. So you think, right, that I would call up and harass anybody or not be pleasant over the phone? Like, that's just pure stupidity, right? I know I'm not going back. I know I'm terminated, right? So it is what it is at this point. So with that being said, you know, when you change as a person, and you know, I'm not gonna sit here and preach to the choir, because you guys know some of the people that know me, they're like, holy shit, whatever. But you know, you're not gonna get out of line or be disrespectful to anybody in there, because they don't know the whole story. They weren't there. Some of them weren't present. I think Dawn was there, and Kerry was there, but they both have left because there's a new person in charge of HR over there, and that's what happens when you have good people that have been there for many years, that know the system, that has helped you out tremendously, and they put a new person in charge, and it completely goes to shit. You know, when you have an HR manager, right? And I'm just hearing this from people that work there. I've never talked to this lady, but I've talked to people that are very close in HR or outside of HR that know the system, say that it's just, their HR is the most horrible in the state, is because they worked at other jails and they know. So with that being said, my understanding of DOC at Yardville is absolutely the worst in this state. So with that being said, which I didn't know all this, of course, until, you know, you start making calls and you start talking to your friends, your you know, co-workers or ex-co-workers, however you want to say it. And you talk to certain individuals that know, and you're just like, wow. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into, right, guys? But it is what it is. You always try to be polite, first and foremost. So I call back. Now this is the third time. I call back, and it's ringing, right? 5 minutes goes by. I finally get a young lady, very young lady over there, and my understanding, she just answers the phones. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. And maybe they are short-staffed there, but maybe they're short-staffed because of the HR manager that they hired. So if you guys would have hired the right people, or made that one person a supervisor there, which she deserved, maybe it wouldn't have gone to shit like it is. So when you have, I believe it was Dawn and Kerry, when after they leave, like, and no disrespect to anybody else, there was also a lady named Rosie, absolute sweetheart. I'm going to get to her later on. When you have those two individuals that pretty much run everything and know everything, you know, that's what happens. So I call up there. It's ringing. Finally, she picks up. And when I tell you this girl picks up, she is just, you can just tell in her voice that she's just downright nasty, right? Just absolutely nasty. So I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know, my name is Chad Tracy. You know, who am I speaking with? You know, she tells me her name. And I said, okay, great. I write it down, you know, and remind you guys, I'm recording everything just because, you know, I got to protect myself first and foremost, because the first thing they'll do is lie, just like I've experienced already. I've experienced lying from officers, right? I've experienced lies from a union rep, most recently. And we're not going to get into that, but we will get into that eventually. After everything is said and done, trust me, we're going to get into that one. So all I ask for you guys, if you're to talk to me, just make sure you tell me the truth, because it will come back to bite you, because I will expose it. She's nasty, and she tells me her name, whatever, and I said, hey, I'm Chad. I used to be an employee there. I'm looking for employment verification. And, you know, the entity had reached out to you. The private entity had reached out to you. And my recruiter has reached out to you twice now. And I wasn't aware, excuse me, until the, excuse me, the recruiter told me that the private agency had reached out to them 4 times. Right, so I told her one time, and then a recruiter had reached out to her one time, and now this being my 4th time, after I was hung up on numerous times. So You know, she's like, well, you have to fill out paperwork. And I said, paperwork? I said, you just can't, you know, send me a letterhead, you know, or the recruiter, the letterhead with, you know, start date, end date, and all, you know, employment verification. No, that's not what we do here. So what she sends me, or sends my recruiter, is a HIPAA form. It was a HIPAA form releasing my medical records, right? Medical records, right? For job employment verification. A HIPAA form for my medical records, and a non-HIPAA form for what I really have to sign, which is the employment verification. And during that employment verification, it asks for your name, your address, your phone number, your social security card, your social security number, and your phone number. Right? So I'm like, great. So here we go. Here comes the harassment, right? People know my address in there, and you know, it's already started. It already started because people already posted a flyer around the jail about me, which we're going to get into, since the since that has closed, the has closed the investigation. But now I started a federal investigation because I know the outcome of that. So, and they still haven't fully disclosed to myself or my attorney, and my attorney has sent a letterhead out requesting to Miss Daniels of New Jersey DOC. She's the head of SID, and my attorney has still not yet received anything from her or from DOC inquiring about what happened with that. So here we are. So getting back, I'm on the phone with this young lady, and she starts getting really nasty because I just started asking questions. I'm like, you know, it doesn't make sense that I have to, and mind you, I don't know the system, so you know, I was just sitting there just questioning, because you know, if you don't know, that's what you do, right, guys? You question. And that's part of the problem I had, that even if you know and you start questioning, they don't like that shit, because you're supposed to be a robot and not question anything they do. And that's it. I'm not a robot. I'm not a puppet. You know what I mean? And they don't like that stuff when you know too much, when you know the system, and you know just various things, and you make yourself knowledgeable, because then you become a threat to them. They can't walk over you. They can't do what they want. So this girl is extremely nasty, and I tell her, I'm like, listen, and she always thinks she's right, but she's wrong. You know what I mean? That's typical of young people that work there. No offense if I offended anyone, that if I'm saying that you're young and you don't know, but it's the truth. But so I let her know that she's being recorded, right? And just so you know that I'm recording this conversation. She was like, under my jurisdiction, I didn't tell you you can record me, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, excuse me, ma'am. I said, ma'am, I don't have to tell you that I'm recording you. As long as one person knows, which is me, I'm able to record you. And she was like, bam, she hangs up on me. Yo, little mama hangs up on me, right? And I don't know if that's a lady that dresses like a hoochie mama over there, all dressed like she's going to the nightclub with everything flaunting and hanging out. But I thought there was a dress code for civilians. So that's what I'm telling you, that HR manager, right? From my understanding, is not there. She's never there. Not to mention, nobody is ever there. I thought COVID was over. What the hell is up with showing up to work now? Like, nobody shows up to work at Garden State HR. There's still people waiting for verifications from months ago. Like, what the hell? What's going on over there? So with that being said, you know, they have that going on. So, so she hangs up on me, and I call back. I say, oh, you know, I'm sorry. I think we got disconnected. No, I didn't get disconnected. You hung up. I said, come on, man, stop. Man, I said, ma'am, I didn't hang up. You hung up because I told you you were being recorded, and that pissed you off. I said, because I was talking to you very civilly and very nicely, and you were very aggressive, and you're talking to me like I was a street thug, in which I'm not. So, getting back to it, if that manager was always in, they would see who's dressing like, like they're going to the club, and there are policies on how you're supposed to dress in a jail or in a jail setting, which is HR. But who am I? I'm just somebody that's terminated that doesn't know anything, right? So, I know I'm jumping all over. Please excuse me. But yeah, so that's what happens. She got very, very pissed off and hung up on me again. So I got hung up on like 4 or 5 times that day. Right? But we're going to continue. That's it. We'll finish this up with the next video, which will be coming out in a couple days. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your weekend. And be safe. Have your guys' backs in there. Even if you don't like the person, have your backs. Take their back. Have their back. Remember, you never know when you're going to go home or not go home. And I'm always worried about, and this goes for everybody, your mental health when you get mandatory 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. That's not healthy. My understanding, they're supposed to shut down another jail or go 12 hours to alleviate some of this pressure on you guys. And also eliminate some of the overtime that you guys are making, like 200 grand, or 250 grand over, no, like 200 grand over your salary, or 150 grand over your salary. Like that's tremendous. If taxpayers start seeing that, it's going to be crazy. Or if Trentonian or one of those other people start exposing all this, I guess that's when it's going to be taken care of. But anyways, Chad Tracy, 18 and a half years in, before I was conspired. 2 people conspired to get me terminated. Said I threatened them and called them 2 vulgar names. And here we are today, fighting for my job. All right, guys. That's it for today. Be safe in there. Talk to you soon.